The persecution of the righteous. We seek truth and justice. America knows that under her flag we have received nothing but hell, beatings, and killings without due process of the law, day and night, not only in the past but in the present. She wants to make some so called Negroes believe that the religion of Islam can be thrown out the window if they turn hypocrites themselves in trying to make democracy work. This is done only to deceive the so called American Negroes. But I say to everyone who reads this book that Islam is here among these black people of America to stay as long as their life is in their bodies. The God of Islam, Allah, is with me and will back me and others who are working hard to deliver people from such an evil and merciless race of devils. What glory and honor does the so called Negro get under the stars and stripes? No honor, no glory, only hell. No honor, no glory, only hell. We have proof of this by their so called courts of justice. There is no justice for you, and this America knows. She would like to hurt every one of you and make you like it. It pleases her to do you evil, but not us Muslims. We will declare the truth and die for it. Thanks to Allah for removing fear from us, and I pray He puts it in them, and they may fear and tremble every day until they are taken out of the way. The Monroe, Louisiana Southern courts, with their Southern judges of hatred, are thirsty to take their own law of justice, twist it up, and throw it back upon the shelf. And when they look, they see a poor, innocent, so called Negro begging for justice, as his grandparents and their grandparents before, as far back as 400 years ago, who received nothing but the spitting of anger and threats of murder from the judges throughout the courts of America. Just to mention justice for a so called Negro in the South is an insult to the judge, who is supposed to be the judge of right and wrong between the state and opposing attorneys. He becomes a more vicious enemy against the poor so called Negro than the prosecuting attorney when he sees a so called Negro before him. The so called Negroes do not have justice under the law, not only in the South, but anywhere in America. As I plainly stated in Washington, D.C. in 1959 in the U-Line Arena before 10,000 people, everything has failed us as far as justice is concerned. The Justice Department in Washington, the churches, the priests, and the preachers have all failed the so-called Negroes. We, the Muslims, were and are still being persecuted in Monroe, Louisiana, and throughout North America for what we teach of these two flags, Islamic and American, and especially because of the following words that you will find on a blackboard in most of our regular meetings. Which flag will survive the war of Armageddon? Armageddon is the final war of judgment and separation of the righteous from the wicked, of which I am sent to teach. This is a question that is asked the mentally dead of my people in America, the so-called Negroes. This question is to show the answerer that he fully agrees that the sun, moon, and stars will survive the cross, or the flag of America known as the Stars and Stripes. Everyone who is asked this question answers that the crescent will survive America's flag and the emblem of Christianity, which is the cross. A fool knows that the sun, moon, and stars will survive any nation. Then comes the next question. Since you believe that the crescent will survive, why not accept Islam and the flag and crescent emblem, which represents the sun, moon, and the stars? We are doing work that is well known among all the learned, whites and blacks, the resurrecting of the mentally dead so called Negroes, to give them divine knowledge of self, of Allah, God, and of the devil. In the past, we have been taught that God and the devil were something other than human, while the truth from Almighty God, Allah, who is now among us in person,